Music producers Timbaland and Swizz Beatz have now announced that they are going to sue Triller for $28 million of missing payments. Now, if y'all are unaware, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland basically created the Verzuz. And Verzuz is basically taking artists from back in the day, or maybe not so far back in the day, but artists that really aren't producing really much material like they were at one time in their prime, and they matched them up with other artists that were around during their time, and they have them just battle it out with different music and everything like that. It was something created during the pandemic. It was a phenomenal takeoff. Like, everybody pretty much gravitated towards it, and it was like, wow, this is something Black people created, and look at where it's headed. But then something happened. About a year or so ago, they ended up selling Verzuz, which a lot of Black people were extremely upset about, and rightfully so, because it's like, why would you sell something that has such major profit coming towards it, and that's yours and you own it? Like, why would you end up selling something that is very profitable? It gains a lot of eyes, and you're still making more money off of it. Like, a lot of people were completely stumped by that. Well, now fast forward to now, you have these two who are suing Triller, which is like a music, it's like I think it's an app. I think it's an app where a lot of people will cut different images or video clips of themselves behind music. And now they're suing them for $28 million. Well, I'm sitting here saying to myself, I don't even know why you're bothering doing that, because you don't own Verzuz anymore. You sold it. It would be one thing if you still owned it, but you don't. You sold it. And I'm still trying to figure out why they did it. I never looked deep into it, but it was yours. Why did you give it up? But I'm going to go ahead now and read this article coming from the Washington Post. It says music artists Swizz Beatz and Timbaland sued Triller Tuesday, alleging the social media platform owes them more than $28 million after acquiring their live streaming music series Verzuz. Triller acquired Verzuz, a webcast series pitting musical acts against one another, in January 2021 for an undisclosed sum. This is a momentous occasion not only for Verzuz and Triller, but the music business as a whole, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland said in a joint statement at the time. So see, at the time, y'all were all for it. And keep in mind, Verzuz came out in 2020. And they sold it in 2021. At the beginning of 2021. So they really didn't even have it for an entire year before they sold it off. But the lawsuit alleges the company began missing payments in January 2022, skipping out on a large settlement promised in March. To date, defendants have failed and refused to make any payment to Swizz Beatz and Timbaland of the past due sums due and owing, the suit reads. Well, if they didn't sell it, they wouldn't be in this predicament. See, I'm finding it very hard for me to feel bad for these two. And a lot of other people are feeling the same. Like, if you did not sell this, you would still have it, and you wouldn't have to worry about this. I'm still trying to figure out, why did they sell it to them? Especially after you not having it for that long. A social media app that looks and functions similarly to TikTok, Triller gained prominence in 2020 when a number of right-wing influencers joined the homegrown app. The company had previously been accused of non-payment. Last year, Triller boasted a new partnership with 300 Black creators who would receive a collective of $14 million, along with equity for participating in the deal. Many of those creators, however, alleged that the social media company began missing payments almost immediately, according to reporting in the Washington Post. So it sounds like to me, y'all sold y'all intellectual property to some con artists. It looks to me like y'all didn't do your research on who Triller is or was. Well, I should say is. Creators who produce custom shows for Triller TV, the company's live streaming service, also told the Post that the brand owed them tens of thousands of dollars. Triller chief executive Mahai Da Silva said in a statement to the Post at the time that the company has met its financial commitments to the creators in this program and will continue to do so. Regarding Triller TV, Da Silva added, anyone owed has been paid or still has deliverables or brand approvals. The creators said they met all deliverables and no outside brands were involved in their streams. Many of the creators who signed deals with Triller say they have been left deep in debt and are facing eviction and skipping meals to make ends meet. Verzuz started out as an Instagram live series in March 2020 as the pandemic took hold in America, driving people online. Swizz Beatz and Timbaland challenged famous artists to live musical battles on Instagram, including Brandy versus Monica, Jeezy versus Gucci Mane, and Ashanti versus Keisha Cole. The series quickly became a cultural phenomenon, garnering 6 million views on a single episode, breaking Instagram's live streaming record and winning a Break the Internet Webby Award in 2020. In August of that year, Verzuz inked a partnership with Apple and Twitter to expand its broadcast outside of Instagram, allowing viewers to watch the battles on Apple Music. Now, see, that wasn't a bad deal because while Apple and Twitter worked with them, they still owned it. But with Triller, they completely just acquired it. Like they just straight up sold it to them. When it came to Twitter or Apple, they didn't sell it to them. They just said, hey, we love what you're doing, but we can help you expand outside of just Instagram. You can still use Instagram, but we can help you expand outside of it. But you'll still have 100% ownership of it. They should have just left it right there. Like, why would you give that up? Like, these two were sitting on a gold mine. As part of the terms of the deal, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland joined Triller's management team, distributing a portion of their equity among the 43 performers who had appeared on Verzuz. Both Triller and Verzuz shared the artist's first vision. Bobby Sornvetch, executive chairman and co-owner of Triller, said in an announcement at the time, "We view this acquisition as more of a partnership than an acquisition." Sounds like something completely different now. Since the acquisition, Verzuz has continued to grow its power and influence online, becoming a go-to show for popular music artists to attract attention and generate buzz. Recently, Swizz Beatz and Timbaland announced a partnership with Amazon Studios for a feature-length documentary about black music inspired by Verzuz' origin story. The documentary will use poignant interviews, gripping verite, and magnetic archival footage to detail black music's impact on culture, according to Deadline. But according to the suit, things began to sour in January when Triller missed a large payment to the Verzuz founders. The company then agreed to a settlement requiring Triller to pay Swizz Beatz and Timbaland $18 million by March 20th, with $1 million a month for the 10 months following. According to the lawsuit, Triller has missed every one of these payments. I thought one interesting thing that I saw behind this was when they said Triller became real popular, when it was mentioning about right-wing influencers flocking to the app, and then that's when it started to grow. I don't know if Swizz Beatz and Timbaland didn't pick up on that before they made this deal, but if that would have came across my way, or if I knew about that, I would have been like, yeah, I'm not going to y'all. Now it's in their hands, and look at who's on their platform. I don't know if they'll be able to get Verzuz back, or if Triller's going to be willing to sell it back to them. But this was just a deal gone wrong. Really, honestly, that's really all it boils down to. And I truly believe that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz definitely had the finances to hold on to that brand. That was theirs. That was very innovative right there, especially for that time. So, yeah, this wasn't, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people's opinions, that this was not the best business move to make. Not every business move that you think is a business move is a good one. Not every business move you make is a good one. Sometimes it's a bad one. In my opinion, this was a bad one. Like, they definitely did not, in my opinion, think this one completely through. And it seems that this Triller app, or whoever they are, they seem very shisty. Because if they missing payments and large payments, not only to people such as them, but to other smaller black content creators, then that's an issue. It's just a shame that they didn't realize it at the time what they had their hands on. We did, and we didn't even own it. We were just consumers. But it's up to them now. It's in their hands now. We'll see what happens. But that's going to end the video on this note. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, please be sure to hit that bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Also, be sure to have your notifications turned on your mobile devices. The links will be down in the description, and I'll talk to you in the next one.